Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today I got a review on the new Viofo A129 Duo IR. This review unit was sent to me for review by Viofo, but as usual I always give my honest opinion on how I feel about the product, regardless of if I buy it or if someone sends it to me. I tend to just like to tell you guys what the pros and cons are for each product I review. If you want to support my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do put out regular reviews of dash cameras, usually once, sometimes twice a month. Of course, there's other ways you can help support my channel, such as using the affiliate links down in the description if you do choose to purchase any of these cameras that I show in my reviews. Many of the cameras or other products I've reviewed, I have purchased myself just to review for you guys, so that always helps. So check down in the description for affiliate links and also some coupon codes for up to $30 off some purchases. So on with the review. Now this is an alternate version of the Viofo A129. The A129 comes as either a single or dual channel dash camera, and it's a very popular camera and considered the successor to the also very popular A119 camera, which is only a one channel camera. I'll include a link down in the description to my previous reviews of those former cameras, because I'm not going to go over as much stuff in this one that the original A129 Duo review might have covered. So again, check those reviews down below. So the main purpose of this, of course, is instead of a camera you put in your rear window, this would be an interior camera. And this allows you to record inside of your car, whether it's night or day. So this is going to be targeting a lot of rideshare drivers or cab drivers like Uber and Lyft. So this can give professional drivers an extra layer of protection in case they have a rowdy customer or something, or need to show what really happened in their car. Now, one great feature that they updated with this version is the parking mode hardwiring kit or power cable can now connect to the actual dock, and it doesn't have to connect to the side of the camera. They've also added buffered parking mode, which we'll touch on that more later in this video. So similar to the previous A129, it features 1080p 60 front or rear, or front and rear. That is the same for the IR version. And it is 16 megabits per channel, so that's a pretty good bit rate for both front and rear. It includes a 2-inch LCD, so you can change your settings or watch clips on the device right on your windshield. Now, within the settings you can find all sorts of options such as resolution, bit rate, parking mode options, and many other settings. I'm not going to go through all of them just to save time in this video, but the menu is very easy to navigate and to understand. Now the mount is a GPS mount similar to the A119 and A129, and this does not come with any non-GPS mount. The A119s did come with a non-GPS mount, but these have only come with the GPS mount. Both mounts for the front and rear are quick release mounts, so you can remove the front and rear camera if you need to. Maybe you don't want to leave them up in an area that you fear someone might break into your car and steal it or something. That's always an option. They're really easy to remove. So this does have dual band Wi-Fi in either 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. This allows you to connect your phone to the camera to change settings, similar to how you would on the screen, but you can do it on your phone. So you can change your settings, watch clips directly on your phone. But the big thing, or the big advantage, is you can send the clips over to your phone wirelessly, so that way you can save clips without having to mess with the memory card or have to, you don't have to use a computer or anything to save those clips. So I like this camera. It's very discreet, but it has both a screen and a Wi-Fi option, so it's the best of both worlds. Now this camera does support up to 256 gigabyte cards, which is really big. I would recommend using the biggest card you can, especially if you're using parking mode, because that's going to take up even more space than when you're just driving. Currently the memory card I recommend is the Samsung Pro Endurance cards, but they do only come in a max of 128 gigabytes. But there's other cards out there to go with if you want 256 gigabytes, but I don't recommend the SanDisk Extreme cards. If you're going to get SanDisk, they do have a high endurance line of cards. Now there's an optional Bluetooth remote that lets you lock files with a button press without needing to reach up to the camera to hit the emergency lock or record button. And I had this when I reviewed the A129 original model, but I don't have one this time, so. But it works, and it can be convenient if you want to lock files without having to try to reach up to the camera, especially if the camera is behind the mirror and you can't see what buttons you're pressing. A CPL filter is also available, which again I had that in the original review, but I don't have one available for this review. It can help reduce glare for better video quality, but can also make night footage darker, so you do have to take that into consideration. Let's take a look at the video samples. The front day looks great. While it's only 1080p 30, for a 2-channel system it still looks really great, and I think many people will be happy with it. Now there's definitely some cameras out there that are going to have better video quality, especially for a single channel camera, I should say. But most people nowadays are going towards these dual channel systems, and I personally wouldn't go without a dual channel system anymore. So for 1080p front and rear, I think this video quality is definitely more than acceptable. Now the night quality is also good. Night quality in dash cameras the past few years have gotten quite a bit better, and even these cheaper cameras now look great. And while this camera isn't the cheapest out there, I do consider it affordable because it's under $200. Now the rear camera is more than adequate, as even 720p for an interior camera would have been good enough, but with this 1080p with the high bitrate it has, I think it looks great. At night the IR lights of course help record even in complete darkness, and it does give off this weird color, but you know, that's just because of the IR. Sometimes during the day, if it's dark enough, it'll still have this weird color. But all that matters is you can see inside your car and see all the detail and see what's going on. One thing you got to be careful with is where you place the rear camera, because I put mine sort of in front of me to the left of the mirror because I got a lot of other cameras installed, and one day I put the visor down when the sun was pretty low, and I got to work and I parked and forgot to put the visor back up, so it recorded just the back of my visor all day long. So you gotta be careful where you install it. Now parking mode is going to require a hardwire kit. They do offer both a 2-wire or 3-wire option, but Viofo recommends the 3-wire kit. The 2-wire kit allows the camera to switch to parking mode after 5 minutes of the camera sensing no movement of your vehicle. This is similar to how Blackvue does parking mode, but the 3-wire option, which is considered superior, switches to parking mode when it senses the car turns on or off, and that's because the additional 3rd wire connects to a fuse that is only on when your car is on. This is the 3-wire hardwiring kit from Viofo. I did buy this on Amazon. Can't remember the price, so I'll put that on the bottom of the screen. Here you can see plugs into the camera with this, and then you're going to have several different connections. You can see they're labeled, so the yellow is going to connect to a ACC fuse. That means the fuse is only on while your car is on. The red is connected to a battery fuse, so that means the fuse will always be on even if your car is off. And then you have the ground, which needs to connect to some sort of grounding screw. And here up top you can see you can change the settings from 11.8, 12, 12.2, 12.4. If you live in a cold climate, I would really recommend using 12.2 or 12.4 during the winter, because if this drops down to 12 volts in the middle of the night, it'll continue to drop and you might end up with a dead battery. And that's happened to me before with a hardwiring kit. So definitely take into consideration what voltage cutoff you use. Now a great new addition to this camera, as I mentioned before, is the buffered parking mode. This means when it senses motion or an impact, it doesn't start recording a moment later, it saves a pre-buffered 15-second clip leading up to the motion or impact. So that way you don't miss the important part. Now in the past, pre-buffered parking mode was pretty much only available in high-end Korean dash cameras, so I'm really happy to see Viofo, a Chinese company, finally getting this buffered feature with their parking mode. Time-lapse is also included again, which will record in 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10 frames per second. I felt 2 frames per second was the sweet spot because it shows lots going on, but it still takes up very little memory card space, which is the main benefit of time-lapse. If you park in a busy area, the standard parking mode might record constantly and overwrite your card every day. So, if that's an issue you have, then I would consider time-lapse mode. Now there's also a low bitrate mode, which is supposed to record all the time during parking mode, but at a much lower bit rate to save memory card space. At the time of this review, it didn't seem to be working, so when I asked the Viofo rep about that, they said they were going to give me a firmware update to eventually to provide this, but I just wanted to go ahead and continue with the review because I personally don't think the low bitrate mode is that great. I would rather use one of the other ones, but I don't have a release date for that firmware, so it's sometime in the future that's going to be patched in with a firmware update. So I think this is a great improvement from Viofo, as typically only high-end Korean cameras, like I said, like Blackvue and Thinkware offered pre-buffered parking mode, but this camera is going to compete head-to-head with some of these companies' lower entry models, such as the Blackvue DR590 series. So guys, overall, I think this is a great camera. It's got a very discreet design. I love that it has the buffered parking mode, and of course it has great video quality for a 2-channel system. The fact that it's got Wi-Fi but also has a small but usable screen is a plus for people that would like best of both worlds. And of course I do love the fact that you can now use the parking hardware kit through the GPS instead of through the side of the camera. Now, some of the cons I'd have to point out are, it's more something I would like to see in the future, is the parking mode doesn't have any time functionality or timer functionality, and I think that needs to be addressed in future revisions because I don't drive, so I own 2 cars, and one of them I drive during the week and the other I typically only drive on weekends, but basically what that means is both cars will go sometimes days without being driven, and with a hardwiring kit that doesn't have a timer, it's going to just keep draining my battery down to that lower threshold, and that can, in the long run, it's going to shorten the lifespan of my car battery. So I hope Viofo, you can add a timer functionality into your hardwiring kit, or if it's possible to add that into your software, that would be great. But again, overall, I think this is a great option from Viofo. Right now, I would say it's one of the best Uber or Lyft rideshare camera because while there are some that are cheaper than this, a lot of them have shortcomings, where this one has great video quality front and rear. It has great quality design. The build quality is great. The fact that it has a Wi-Fi and a screen is a plus while still maintaining a very small design. But either way, I consider this an affordable camera with great features, and when I say affordable, I'm talking about within the $100 to $200 range. Anything under $100 I would consider budget, and anything over $200 I would consider high-end. So the cameras from Blackvue, for example, they all cost more than $200. So if you guys are an Uber driver or Lyft driver or cab driver, whatever, and you're looking for a new dash camera to record your driving, I think personally this is probably the best option out there. It's affordable with great features all around. It's not the highest end camera, but I think it really hits the sweet spot, and Viofo I think is going to have a real great hit with this model for those rideshare drivers. So if you like this video or my other videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. And of course, if you're interested in purchasing this camera, I will provide links down in the description, including some coupon codes. You can purchase from either Amazon, Viofo directly, or also Black Box My Car. And again, these links do help support my channel. I do purchase a bunch of the products that I use and review on this channel. So I hope this video again was helpful. As usual, drive safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.